of you know Charles? Maybe you've seen him around work. You think he's an okay person. You haven't heard anything bad about him. He hasn't given you any reason to assume that he is a bad person. Now, you might invite him to your house for a barbecue, a gathering. Now let's change it up a little bit. What if I told you that Charles is a registered sex offender? I'm sure now your perceptions change. You're thinking, oh my God, what did he do? Did he sexually assault someone? Is he a pedophile? Your views of him change because he's a registered sex offender. You no longer want to be associated with him. You don't want him at your house. You don't want him as a friend. Now, I know all of you have known of someone or of a situation where an otherwise good person was caught up in the wrong thing. Crime doesn't pay. I don't condone it. I'm not a criminal. I don't associate myself with criminals. And when I hear of someone who commits a criminal act, I say, okay, punish them to the max. But with most crimes, and especially sex crimes, there is a lot of gray area. Sometimes good people like Charles get a bad label. All Charles was doing, he was at a lake. He decided to change his clothes beside his car, totally innocent. But someone saw him, called the police, and now he's been charged with indecent exposure. This is a sex offense. He has to register as a sex offender in most states. A good person. Now, if someone sees this about Charles, the American mentality is think the worst. Regardless of what he did, we as humans, we automatically assume the worst. And this is what has happened to Charles. Now, sex offenses come with a horrible stigma, as they should, because I feel that anyone who commits a sexual act against a child, against another person that is unwanted, they should get the maximum punishment. In no way do I condone this. The sex offender registry would serve its purpose in this case. As far as I'm concerned, you can print out full colored photos of these people and post them everywhere so that people know who they are and so that people are aware. Okay? But in cases where a person has made an innocent mistake, it's just not right. Take two high school students, for instance. You have a 16-year-old and you have an 18-year-old. They decide to engage in sexual activity. It's stupid. They're children. One parent finds out, and that parent is furious, as they should be. But these are two kids who just made an immature decision. But if that 18-year-old man, well, boy, is arrested and charged as a sex offender, this is going to follow him for the rest of his life. Say he was on the right track. He was going to go to college. Now, most colleges are going to look at his background. They're going to see this and, no, we don't want anything to do with him. When he goes for a job and they check his background and see that he has this charge on his record, oh no, we don't want anything to do with him. It's going to affect him. Even if he gets the house and moves into a nice neighborhood, it only takes one person to know that he's a sex offender, and they do not care what his background is, what type of person he is. They just see sex offender, and that's that. That stigma has to follow him. Now, there are instances where, like I said, the sex offender registry is a good thing. Cases of necrophilia. No, lock them up. Put them on the list. People need to be aware of who these people are. Bestiality. Things of this nature. They're not right. They're crimes. I don't condone them. As a matter of fact, I say put them to death. And in some states, this is actually an option if you commit a sex crime against a child or against someone else. Like I said, in cases where a person gets charged with an indecent exposure, or the kid in high school, this has to follow them for the rest of their lives. So what I'm saying to you today is that these laws need to be changed. They need to be harsher for the people who deserve them, and it also needs to be a change so that good people like Charles and other people who make, I'm going to say, stupid decisions in just a moment, it doesn't need to follow them. I'm sure a lot of you can agree with me that there needs to be a change in these laws. Thank you. Get her answering the phone.
Where'd she go?
Oh, I'm here.